Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room. Let people in. Hello, hello, everybody. So good to see familiar and not familiar names as we are getting Daily with Doc started here on Zoom. Yes, it is a live Zoom. Yes, it is a live program. And you are welcome to join us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, and 3 to 4 Eastern. And ask your favorite search engine what time it would be in your time zone at one of those times. So we are out live streaming on multiple different platforms. Let us know where you're at. Type it into the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. So we love to see what the reach is that we have. And for those of you who are on a platform where they don't have a way to comment, feel free to email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. So let's go ahead and get started in today's program. Just a reminder, this is a resource for an amazing community of health advocates, health coaches, people that just love to see people thrive instead of barely survive, folks. As that is what Daily with Doc is all about, is empowering you as an individual and giving information that you can put in your toolbox, whether that's physical information or just knowledge. In your toolbox is where you need to keep that and use it as needed. So today is like none other. Oh, and I forgot to say, if somebody sent you to this program, make sure that you get back with them because they cared enough about you to share this program with you. So care enough to get back with them, tell them thank you, and they will be your primary care, your primary point of contact. Okay. And if there is nobody to thank, 855-949-3377 is a number that you can get in contact with a certified holistic health coach. Again, that's for people that are already not working with somebody and were not referred to this program by anybody specific. So today's guest is someone who brings heart wisdom and a whole lot of herb know-how to the wellness world. Sheri Browning has been a certified health coach since 2015, helping people transform their health with encouragement, accountability, and a holistic approach that truly sticks. She's an integrative nutrition health coach, certified holistic health coach, and a clinical and nutritional herbalist. In other words, if it grows, ferments, or heals, she probably teaches a workshop on that. And today we are honored to be able to have her teach a workshop with us. So for decades, she has led community classes on everything from kombucha brewing, fermented foods, to herbal tinctures, gardening, weight loss. And today she's joining us for part 1 of a brand new series, Spice Rack Remedies, Your Kitchen's Health Secrets. So we're diving into the power, often overlooked, of the healing properties of everyday herbs and spices, the kinds you probably already have in your pantry. Okay. So Sheri, with 8 children, yes, 8, 14 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren, she somehow finds time to help people make real, lasting health changes. And we are thrilled to have her here to kick off this flavorful and fantastic series. Sheri Browning, welcome to Daily with Doc, my friend. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Becca. I'm doing great. Love to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you as part of my tech team, but more importantly, you have dedicated your life to helping people find health and wellness. And something that you and I both share is that passion for herbalism, passion for people, passion for sharing knowledge. And today we're going to be talking about something, mostly you, something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is those herbs that are most commonly in your kitchen, and you don't even think about their medicinal values.
It's true. Most of us don't even realize that they were used for centuries to help with just common everyday ailments and illnesses. We've forgotten that since pharmaceuticals came on the scene. We turned to those first, but we have, I call it God's pharmacy right in your spice cabinet, right in your pantry. It's wonderful.
Yes, it absolutely is. And are we going to go in alphabetical order, or are we kind of going to go in the most common?
Well, we're going to start kind of alphabetically. It's easier for me to keep track that way. But before we get started, I want to remind people that you have to keep, you have the herbs you use or the spices you use must be fresh and potent, and they don't last forever. So when you go to use anything out of your spice rack, especially if you're going to use it in a medicinal way, check this expiration date. That's not necessarily that means that you have to throw it away, but check the smell, check the way it looks, and then you'll know if it's really going to be potent for you to use. When you cook, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but if you're going to use it medicinally, you want it to be potent, you want it to be fresh as possible. So
I think,
go ahead.
Well, I think another thing that we really need to be aware of, whether we're using it for cooking or using it medicinally, is making sure that we're getting quality, clean, organically grown, or wildcrafted. And if it's wildcrafted, we need to know where it was grown to make sure that it is free of those common pesticides and herbicides that are used, that are being found to be destructive within our bodies.
Exactly. Excellent. I like the way you said that. So maybe you want to take a look at my herb collection?
Please. I was hoping to share mine too, but yours is so much nicer and neatly organized than mine. So after a few moves, I want to see yours and share yours with the world.
Okay. So Ruth Ellen's going to bring up the pictures, what it looks like. And there they are. That's part of them. And the blue tape you see on there is painter's tape. It's great to use for labeling anything. You can write on it with a magic marker and you can pull them off really easily. And then there's another section too that Ruth Ellen can show you. And yeah, that's the other part. There's more on the other side of the room, but that's plenty to look at. So I have a little bit of everything. When I did my training, thanks, Ruth Ellen, I appreciate that. When I did my training, I had to grow herbs, harvest the herbs, tincture with them, make medicines with them, lotions with them, do decoctions, just about everything. So I still say I'm a baby herbalist though, because the more I learned, the more I realized I didn't know. There's just so much to learn. You can never know it all. It's just so much, but it gave me a great appreciation for our creation and for what we have available to us. We just have to trust and use it.
Now, I do have a question, and this is an observation that I know the answer to, but I'd like for you to share with the others. On your shelves, everything was in glass.
Yes, it's very important. You do not want to have it in plastic because it absorbs, especially in tinctures, they have an alcohol base and that will absorb that plastic into it. It must be in glass. Absolutely. And all of my dry herbs that you see in there in jars, I have a little machine where I can extract the oxygen out of it and it will seal that jar. That way the herb will last a little longer than it would if it was just had a screw top on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, the way that you store your herbs is very important as well. So,
Yes.
Sheri, let's jump into some of the most common things that we overlook as being medicinal that we can use every day for everyday maladies.
Okay, let's start with the caraway seed. Maybe you have it in your cabinet, maybe you don't. I have it there because when I make sauerkraut, I put caraway seed in it. It adds a great flavor to it. And with that caraway seed, let's start with our tiniest family members. If you've ever been around an infant with colic, you know how hard it is to watch them struggle with that pain. Well, caraway is incredibly effective and super safe for treating colic in babies. Just a tiny dose of caraway tea, we're talking a few drops out of an eyedropper, can really help soothe those little belly aches. For caraway seed tea, a good starting point is about 1 teaspoon of caraway seeds and 1 cup of water. You can adjust the amount to your preference, but you put the seeds in a cup, you add boiling water, you cover with a small plate, and you let it steep for about 10 minutes. You strain it, and there you have your tea. Let it cool down to about body temperature, and then give that to the baby. It's wonderful. For adults, caraway is fantastic for all common issues like gas, general indigestion, and that uncomfortable pain that comes along with it. So how does it work? Well, caraway helps to relax the smooth muscles all over your body. And that's why it can even help with menstrual cramps by relaxing the smooth muscles in the uterus. Try it. I think you'll really be amazed. It can even smooth conditions like diarrhea that can cause things moving too quickly through the digestive tract. When you have diarrhea, your intestine is spasming. And that's why it's forcing everything out before it has a chance to get rid of the water in the feces. So if you take caraway and you drink that, or you take it in some form, it can relax the intestines and help with that. Caraway is your go-to for indigestion, colic, gas pains, and just general digestive discomfort. This little seed also offers some surprise and support for your nervous system. Have you ever felt overwhelmed or just needed to take the edge off during a stressful day or a challenging time in your life? Caraway can actually be quite calming and soothing. It provides a really gentle relaxation. We're not talking about something that's going to make you drowsy or sedated, but rather it helps to promote a sense of calm and ease. So the next time you have a stressful day, drink a warm cup of caraway tea, and you'll see the difference. It can also be used topically for bruising. It's an interesting, less common use of caraway. And to do this, you'll grind up some caraway seeds. And this is a coffee grinder, nut grinder, seed grinder. I use this a lot in the kitchen. They're very inexpensive, easy to find. And you can also use a mortar and pestle. I have that too. But you grind up some of the seeds, you mix with some vinegar, and you let it sit for a few hours. And that vinegar is going to extract. You'll end up with a poultice, which is really essentially just a soft, moist mash. And you'll apply this poultice directly to the bruise. It helps promote faster healing and can even make those bruises disappear quicker. So from soothing your tummy to calming your nerves and even helping with bruises, caraway is a powerhouse in a tiny seed, and it is often right in your spice cabinet. So the next one to talk about is cardamom. Cardamom, that's not easy to say all the time. This spice brings a whole host of health benefits, and I hope you have some, and if you don't, I hope you'll get some. Cardamom can be surprisingly effective for tension headaches. So the next time you feel one coming on, a headache, reach for some cardamom. Just like our friend caraway, cardamom is also a fantastic digestive aid. It's great for indigestion, colic, and those uncomfortable gas pains that accompany stomach issues. And here's an interesting part about cardamom. In traditional Chinese medicine, cardamom is known for its warming quality, often referred to as yang energy or yang energy. I'm from the South, so I'm going to call it yang. It can be particularly beneficial for conditions associated with feeling cold or sluggish. Make some cardamom tea when you feel that. And here's how you do it. You'll steep 2 to 4 cardamom pods per cup of boiling water for about 5 or 10 minutes. The flavor will get stronger the longer you let the cardamom pods sit there, and drink some. It'll warm you up. It'll give you a little more, you won't have that sluggish kind of feel cold energy, especially in the winter. That's really helpful. So the next time you're looking for a natural way to ease a headache, soothe your digestion, or even just warm up your system, remember that mighty cardamom. See what I mean? It's not easy to say. Just go have a cup of tea. And the next one we can talk about is cinnamon. Cinnamon, I mean, who doesn't have cinnamon in their pantry? It's all over the world. It's a staple in most pantries. Where does cinnamon come from? Actually, it comes from the inner bark of a tree. And as the bark dries, it naturally curls up into these familiar cinnamon sticks we all recognize. That's the bark of a tree, the inner bark of a tree. There's extensive research that strongly supports cinnamon's ability to lower blood sugar levels. This isn't just an old wives' tale. It's a scientifically proven fact. It slows, and how does it do that? Well, this is interesting because it slows gastric emptying, it interferes with carbohydrate absorption, and it enhances insulin sensitivity. So these 3 actions working together to create a significant impact on lowering blood sugar. And if you're looking for the best type of cinnamon for blood sugar control, the best has been shown to be the Ceylon, Ceylon. Cinnamon is generally considered the top choice for blood sugar control. There are many different types of cinnamon, but this is the one that I would recommend. The dosage would be about a half a teaspoon to about 2 teaspoons a day. Start with a lower amount and work up for at least 20 days to see how it affects your blood sugar. And then cinnamon, oh well, it's great for digestion too. For indigestion and gas, it relaxes your gut muscles to alleviate discomfort. If you're dealing with diarrhea or dysentery, It helps to firm the stools and tone the digestive tract. Overall, it promotes better gut health, calming spasms and soothing irritation. But beyond the gut, it's good for muscle cramps anywhere in the body. It can help relax both smooth and skeletal muscles. It even offers respiratory support. You know, when you have that cough, which are often caused by bronchial muscle spasms, cinnamon can help relax those muscles so that you won't cough as much. And for conditions like asthma, which involves a muscle contraction of the bronchial muscles, cinnamon can help with that as well. So finally, another significant use for cinnamon tincture can be used to help slow excessive uterine bleeding. Now, you want to make sure that you don't have some disease situation going on first. But if you just happen to have a very heavy menstrual flow, and that's something that you just constantly having to deal with, a small dose of cinnamon tinctured, administered as needed, can be quite effective. Just keep that in mind. So the next time you sprinkle cinnamon on your food or add it to your tea, remember, you're not just adding flavor. You're tapping into a rich history of powerful natural healing. And I see AJ has a question. What would you like to ask me, AJ?
Does it come from any bark?
I don't know. I just know it comes from the bark of a tree. Can you look that up? You can tell us.
Sure.
Probably a cinnamon tree. I don't know. I'm not sure what tree it comes from. I just know it comes from the inner bark. Thanks for asking that. And then finally, let's turn to, and I think pharmacist Ben talked about this recently in one of his news. It was in our newsletter. It was an article he wrote, and it's about flaxseed, the mighty, mighty, tiny, tiny, mighty, mighty flaxseed. Man, this is a powerhouse too. But to really unlock all the beneficial compounds within flaxseed, they must be ground. Don't eat them whole. They'll probably pass right through you. And only grind them as you use them because they will oxidize very quickly and lose their potency. So you just grind it as you need. I've seen ground flaxseed on store shelves. Don't bother. Don't bother. It's not going to be near as good for you or potent by the time you open it and use it. Grind your own. It's really easy. And that's another reason for having this grinder right here, because it will take care of it very quickly for you. So what does the flaxseed do? Well, digestive health is where flaxseed really shines for many people. It's super high in insoluble fiber. This fiber adds bulk to the stool, which promotes regularity and is effective for relieving constipation. For those dealing with conditions like IBS and diverticulitis, flaxseed offers significant relief. And I know because I've had IBS before. With IBS, it helps to regulate bowel movements, bringing much needed stability. And for diverticulitis, the fiber acts like a little broom, helping to scoop out and move along any material that might get stuck in those little pouches in your intestines, which helps to prevent inflammation and infection. And flaxseed is a true prebiotic powerhouse. It has insoluble fiber, which is a vital source of food for the good gut bacteria that you have. For dosage, we're looking at about 1 to 2 tablespoons a couple of times a day if you're dealing with some issues, digestive issues. Grind it up, put it in your yogurt, you can just eat it like it is. It's actually very tasty. I love it in yogurt. It gives it a really nutty, fun taste. And finally, flaxseed is exceptional for making poultices. For external use, you just mix some ground flaxseed with water. You make a mash of poultice. You apply it directly on a wound. It has a remarkable drawing power. It actively pulls fluids, including pus and toxins, right out of the wounds and infections. So have some on hand. And then when you have a wound, make that mash and apply it. I think you'll be quite amazed at what you see. So from helping your digestive system to feeding your good gut bacteria and even healing wounds, flaxseed truly is a tiny seed with immense benefits. Let's see what our time is. We want to leave enough time for questions because I know we're going to have them. But it looks like we have time to go into at least one more. Let's talk about a true powerhouse, a rock star, we call it, in the world of medicinal plants, and that is garlic. Boy, I love garlic. There is one crucial rule about garlic, though, if you're going to use it for medicinal purposes. Do not heat it. Do not cook it. When you do, that heating destroys the most potent medicinal properties of the garlic. You're going to have it raw. For getting the most out of medicinally, here are the best ways to use it. Fresh cloves are really good. Just chop them up, crush them up, get them in you somehow. You can also use garlic when it's dried and powdered. Tinctures, I haven't ever bothered making a tincture out of garlic because I'll tell you what my favorite way is to make, and that is to ferment garlic. Yep, that's what this is right here. This is fermented garlic. It's my absolutely favorite way to take it, which actually makes it, remember what we learned about fermenting? When you ferment something, actually makes it even better than the fresh garlic for medicine. It adds more beneficial compounds, and you can even get those wonderful gut healthy probiotics. This is my favorite way. You just take one out and pop it in your mouth. It's actually quite good. If you're going to do raw garlic cloves, this is less zingy than taking a piece of raw garlic and putting it in your mouth and chewing it. If you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. Well, this kind of tones it down. It's not quite so zingy, but it's fabulous. And it's even more medicinal. So how do you make fermented garlic? Well, here's how it's done. You're going to create a brine. It's called a salt brine, which is about 1 tablespoon of sea salt and 1 cup of water. Don't use Morton table salt. I know people do it, but I do not. Use a good sea salt, and it can be the Himalayan pink salt, it could be the Celtic salt, it can be any sea salt that is unrefined. And then you're going to pack garlic cloves into your jar. This used to be packed. And then you're going to pour that brine over it, and you're going to let it sit on your counter for a few weeks. And I just have the top on light, just like this lightly. I don't tighten it down so that it can get a little bit of air in there. It's below it. And then after about 2 weeks, you're going to taste it. If it has the flavor you like, then stick it in the refrigerator. And there you have it. Then it's there anytime you need it. You feel something coming on, you don't feel well, take a clove of garlic. So,
Sheri,
yes.
before you move on away from that, tell us one more time how you ferment garlic so we all can pay attention.
I will do that. That's a great question. You're going to make a salt brine. 1 tablespoon of salt, sea salt, to 1 cup of water. That's your recipe for the brine. And don't skip on the salt. You have to have it. It's a preservative, as well as the fact that it'll keep that garlic crispy. And then you're going to fill your jar of peeled garlic cloves and pour the brine over it. You're going to put on a lid, and you're going to sit it on your counter for about 2 weeks, out of sunlight. Doesn't have to go into a dark room, just sitting on the counter out of sunlight. After 2 weeks, you're going to taste it and see if it's the taste you want. If it's not, you can stay longer. Once you have the taste you want, move it to your fridge. That will slow down the fermenting process. It won't stop it, but it will slow it down. And so what do I take this for? Garlic is incredible. Try eating 1 fresh garlic clove every day and see what happens to your blood pressure. Just try it. I recommend the fermented cloves over the fresh, but I mean, you can do the fresh too. Chop it up, put it in something and eat it every day. Try 1 clove of garlic, fresh garlic, and see what happens to your blood pressure. It's amazing because it helps to stabilize and normalize your blood pressure. If it's a little too high, brings it down. If it's a little too low, brings it up. It just stabilizes. It helps the body find that healthy balance. I'd like to hear about it though, and see what's happened for you on that. Garlic is what we call a broad spectrum killer. It has powerful antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. This makes it incredibly effective against all sorts of infections, from bronchitis to bladder infections, and even helping with wounds. It not only kills those nasty microorganisms, but also gives your immune system a big boost to fight off them as well. And garlic is great for parasites. I don't know if you know that. It's effective against a wide range of parasites. We're talking about common issues like roundworm and flatworm, as well as tiny intestinal parasites like Giardia and amoebas, or even some blood parasites. It truly is an internal parasite cleanser. It can even be a cholesterol buster if your doctor's on your back. Garlic has fiber and special compounds that work together to help lower your serum cholesterol levels. Garlic is fantastic for your lungs and airways. It helps kill off infectious agents like viruses and bacteria that cause those annoying respiratory infections. It also helps you expel mucus and phlegm from your lungs, which makes breathing much easier. So it's super beneficial for things like asthma, bronchitis, colds, and the flu. So the next time you're chopping garlic for dinner, remember that raw garlic is a medicinal powerhouse. And I hope you keep some on hand. Ferment it, put it in your fridge, have it on hand. And then when you have those illnesses coming on, or if you want to take it for blood pressure, bring it out. Take it each day. It's wonderful. Let's see our time. Do we have time for one more?
We do. We do. And then I have some questions for you before we hit questions with the hands raised. So folks, if you have a question and you'd like to ask it, you can put it into the chat. If you're out on the different platforms or in the Zoom itself, or raise your hand.
What's your question, Becca? Before I go into ginger.
Okay, so my question is going to be a general question on the different ways that you can utilize tinctures. So go ahead and go on to the next one.
Okay, we'll do ginger. And this is ginger. I keep it all the time. I stick it in my freezer and pull it out when I need it, because if you just leave it laying out flat, eventually it, just leave it in the air, eventually it dries up. And I want to have it there when I need it. So if you buy it in bulk, and I do, then you can put it in your freezer and just pull it out when you need it. But ginger, or Zingiber officinale, is the scientific name. And remember that word officinale? What does that mean? Did you, it's a Latin word, officinale or officinalis. You'll see it about, that will follow the scientific name of many plants or herbs, and you'll see them and you'll wonder, well, what does that mean? The word comes from officina, which was from the room in the monasteries where monks kept all their medicinal plants. It was called the officina. So if you ever see officinale, officinalis, or some variety of that word after the name of the plant, you instantly know it's a medicinal powerhouse with centuries of traditional use. And ginger is absolutely one of them. Ginger is fantastic for respiratory health. It's an expectorant, which means it helps you get rid of all that mucus in your lungs. It's great for flu and bronchitis. It's wonderful for soothing symptoms and really aiding in your recovery when you have the flu or bronchitis. You got a stuffy nose? It's warming. It's zingy energy. Is perfect for sinus decongestion. And for asthma, it can help clear up airways for encouraging phlegm to come out. And it's good for digestion. I mean, everything we've talked about so far has been good for your digestion, and this is another one of them. If you're feeling queasy, ginger is super effective for nausea, whether it's from motion sickness, general belly aches, or upset stomach. But I want to share with you about morning sickness during pregnancy. And I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've had 8 children. I've had my share of it. A word of caution here. While it's commonly used, and I know it is, and I've seen it and I've done it myself, some research is suggesting there could be potential genetic issues at certain developmental stages. So my recommendation now is to avoid ginger for morning sickness during pregnancy and use something like peppermint instead until we know more. I just always err on the side of safety. And here's a tip for morning sickness that you may not have thought of. It's often caused by low blood sugar, which is hypoglycemia. So if you have frequent snacks, And if you eat something before you even get out of bed in the morning, it can help alleviate that symptom and make you feel better. And that's what I found worked best for me. So just try that. You've got to eat something. Your blood sugar is just too low. So ginger is an anti-inflammatory, and you can use it both topically and internally. You can crush ginger and put it directly on the sore joints, on your sore joints, like your knees and your elbows. It works by increasing circulation and directly reducing localized inflammation. You can make a tincture out of it and do it that way too. Ginger actually interferes with the production of inflammatory immune complexes inside. So when you take it internally, it helps with that inside inflammation of the body. This makes it really beneficial for systemic inflammation, which includes conditions like any kind of autoimmune disorder, such as fibromyalgia, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. It does help relieve those symptoms. And finally, and surprising, it's an effective antiparasite too. Antiparasitic, I should say. It's effective against roundworms and tapeworms. It's also incredibly versatile because it can be used internally for humans, including children and dogs and even chickens, just so you know. So whether you're trying to clear your sinuses, calm inflammation, or get rid of worms, ginger truly is a multi-talented marvel. Okay, so what else have you got? What questions do you have for me?
All right. So we do have a few questions. And one thing that I've done, Sheri, is I have made like fire cider using cloves and garlic, or cloves, garlic, and ginger and onions, and put them all together.
I have some in my room next door. I make it every year, and I always use it throughout the year. Yeah, fire cider is what they call it, right? Yeah, yeah. I make that too. It's fantastic.
So several questions. One, how many cloves of garlic do you put in the brine for fermenting the garlic?
Just fill up the jar. And I use this nice jar. Just fill up the jar and then add the brine. And if you don't have enough brine, make more. Remember, the ratio is 1 tablespoon to 1 cup of water. Just fill up the jar. So I don't know how many's going to fit in your jar, but yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the size of your garlic cloves.
And your jar. Yeah, that's right.
That too. Yeah. So the next question, Sheri, when it comes to cardamom, are you using the seed or the pod?
The pod. I really like the pod. Cardamom pod is really good. Now you can grind it up a little bit before you use it, but the pod is what I'd make the tea out of.
And why?
Well, because it's always, my feeling is it's always best to get the whole plant and to get it while it's still protected in that pod. Because anytime you break something down, it starts to oxidize. It may not oxidize right away, but I don't know if cardamom does or not. But I've always been taught that if you can get the whole plant and use it like that, even if you, right before you use it, you can break it down some, that pod, and then I don't know how long it's been out now. Maybe it's become oxidized. Maybe it won't be as potent.
Yeah. Right. Well, and then there's some herbs that you use dried, others that you use fresh. Is there medicinal benefits different, whether it's dried or fresh?
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I've used both and I haven't really noticed that much of a difference. And bringing up, I don't know. I've used both.
And from my experience, I know that there is a difference between everyone. So there's no across the board answer to that question. It depends on the individual spice, the individual herb, whether they're using the seed or the aerial part or the root. So
exactly, I agree.
Just so folks understand that there's not a blanket answer to that question.
No, that's a debate probably goes on constantly among herbalists. Dried or fresh, dried or fresh. If you're going to tincture something, I mean, I've used both even for that. So, yeah.
So, and the next question does include tinctures. So you've mentioned teas, you've mentioned tinctures, you've mentioned fermenting. What's the difference between each of them?
Well, there's a lot of difference. One is an alcohol base, that's your tincture. It's an grain alcohol base that extracts from that herb or that spice. The fermenting is when you're actually creating lactic acid through a salt brine. That's different. And then what was the other one?
Tea or an
Tea. Oh, yeah.
infusion.
Tea, yeah, an infusion. Yeah, tea is just to be able to, the warm water is pulling out. Oh, but you can do cold infusions too. So I shouldn't say warm water, but the water is actually extracting out. It's kind of releasing its compounds or chemicals into the water for you to drink it. And some infusions, and we'll go over that in the future, sometimes you want to, the herb you do should be a cold infusion, not a hot one. And we'll talk about that another time, especially on
Absolutely.
summers. Yeah. But you brought up tinctures, and go ahead.
Oh no, continue.
Well, with tinctures, we have a line. It's called the Good Herbs line. Longevity doesn't. I absolutely love that line. I make my own tinctures. I've used plenty of others, but his are Good Herb line are just supreme. They are the best I've ever seen, the best I've ever used. And I love the blends they use for different things. They're fabulous. So if you haven't tried the Good Herbs tinctures, I would encourage you to try them. They're fabulous.
And I stand in agreement with you on that. As an herbalist myself, I made tinctures for a functional medicine practitioner. And getting those combinations and making sure that you're using the right alcohols with the right part of the plant and the right ratios, it's pretty tedious.
It is. And you have to make sure, like you said before, that wherever your herbs are coming from, that they are good herbs. And sometimes you don't have control over that, but for yourself. But that's very important.
And as our guest said yesterday, in regards to the good herbs, he saw so much value in them because they were pure, because of the way that they were made, the integrity. He fought hard to keep those. And when I first came into the longevity family and I got into the nutrition, and as I was digging, I saw good herbs. What are those? It's like, oh, tinctures.
Yeah.
And seeing the different tinctures and how they had them labeled made it so easy to know what it was for. And as I was looking through the ingredients, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done that together. Fantastic. I don't have to do it myself anymore.
I know. So worth it. I mean, it's just wonderful stuff. I keep that line on hand here. Even though I have my own tinctures, I keep that line, that Good Herbs tinctures here as well. I just love them. Yeah.
And
So
they don't replace the nutrition.
No. And that's something I need to bring up. Herbs are wonderful. They're God's pharmacy, but you have got to nutrify your body. The 90 essential is absolutely your foundation. That has got to be where you start. And then you add, for specific things, you would add tinctures or do the spices for medicine, but you've got to have a well nutrified body, and you must take the 90 essential nutrients. I have not always had longevity in my life, but since I have, huge difference. Huge.
Yeah, here as well. I mean, I had been able to help a lot of people, but I hadn't figured myself out until I found longevity and the 90 essential nutrients.
Oh my goodness, yes, I totally understand. I would like to go into one more thing, one more plant we use that's in our kitchen that's going to surprise everyone, because I didn't learn this until I was training with my mentor, Dr. Patrick Jones, as an herbalist. So when you've got an earache and you want relief and you want it now, onions offer a fast, effective, and incredibly accessible solution that you probably already have sitting right in your pantry. How many of you have an onion in your pantry? Almost everybody, because we cook with them. Yes. So it might not surprise you to learn that onions and garlic, and here they are together, are actually cousins in the plant world. They both belong to the allium genus. But because they're related, they both share some fantastic properties. They're both anti-inflammatory, they're both antimicrobial, and they offer very similar healing capabilities. So why onions for an earache? Well, onions are actually superior to garlic for earaches. And I've used it and I promote it. It comes down to their texture. Onion juice is much more watery, easier to get in the ear, easier to get out of the ear. It's much easier to administer, and it's so simple to make. Oh my goodness. You have a child wake up with an earache during the night, and what do you want to do? We need relief right now. We need relief immediately. Well, just go get you an onion. It doesn't matter what kind. It doesn't have to be fancy. You only need one. And here's how I make it. I would cut this off a little more, this particular onion, but I grate it on my largest grater of the grater. I just grate it out. Then I take my grated onion and I put it in a clean handkerchief or cloth and I squeeze out the juice. Then, and you'll get a good amount of juice, just squeeze out that juice. Then you lay the child down, put the juice in the ear, put a little cotton there, and that earache typically disappears within minutes. Gotta try it. I've tried it on myself when I've had an earache, and it is phenomenal. The problem is solved, and the earache doesn't come back. It works because it's both anti-inflammatory, which reduces the pain and the swelling, antimicrobial, meaning it actively kills the bacteria that's causing the infection. It can save you money. You don't have to run to the doctor and get those expensive ear treatments. I mean, who would not want to? So I want you to remember this, if nothing else today. Onion juice is a powerful natural remedy for earaches. I've heard of people putting half an onion on the ear, but this is even better. It's quick, it's effective, and it's super readily available if you have an onion in your pantry. It's both anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. So it gets to the root of the problem. You can save money and get immediate relief with just that simple solution. Isn't it incredible what plants can do for us? And I hope that people will try this. Don't be afraid. I'll have some young mothers say to me, oh, but when I teach them that, does it burn the ears? No. It doesn't burn the ears at all. No, it's fabulous.
And I'm glad that you pointed out that it can be any onion, whether it's a white onion, yellow onion, red onion, sweet onion. It doesn't matter.
No.
Does not matter.
Doesn't
matter. And the fact that it is so quick compared to garlic oil, which I used to make. We used to bottle it up, but it took a minimum of 2 weeks to make. You've got a baby with an ear infection, you don't have 2 weeks.
That's right. I have that oil in my closet and I never use it anymore. I always go to the onion. Always the onion.
I'm going to be looking more to my onions because I ran out of my garlic oil. So thankfully, and this is something else. We had clients that the child would have reoccurring ear infections. Reoccurring. It was like so often that they were looking to get tubes put into the ears.
Right. Try the onion juice first.
Well, and even with the garlic oil, we had, I think, almost all of them, more than a dozen clients with kids with reoccurring ear infections. It would take 2 or 3 drops, 4 or 5 times, and they wouldn't have the reoccurring ear infection anymore.
Yeah. Because you're getting to the root of the problem. It's not that you need to put tubes in, you need to get rid of that bacteria that's causing that infection. Yeah.
And one thing that antibiotics do is they kill the good and bad bacteria within the digestive system, which weakens the immune system.
Right. I just wish I'd known this years ago. My mentor, Dr. Jones, taught this to us. His wife is a midwife, and he has like 15 children. Most of them are adopted. He said he never had it not work. He's used it on so many ears. He has never had it not work. So I said, all right, I'm going to start using it. And it does work. It's fabulous.
So
Don't be afraid. Use onion juice.
don't be afraid. That's right. Don't be afraid. So we got a couple more questions, Sheri.
Okay.
So Rod has a friend visiting, wanting to know about cinnamon. Now you mentioned that it's good for blood sugar. The question is it good for blood pressure as well?
Actually, it is. Try it. It is. My researcher told me. I didn't bring it up because there were so many things to cover. Actually, all these do this and more that I'm talking about. But yes, it does help with blood pressure as well. But use the garlic for your blood pressure.
That too. That too.
See what happens with that.
So Susie has a question, and this is 2 herbs that we did not cover today, but I think you know about them. She says, can one use chia seeds or hemp?
I haven't tried using them for anything. Chia seeds, I haven't tried using for anything medicinally. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any experience with that?
Well, they're great protein sources.
They are.
I love chia seed pudding.
Yes.
I mix it with my soul drink, making it up just as if I was making a soul. Put half a cup of chia seeds into a cup of the soul mixture, put it in the refrigerator. Lunchtime, dinner time, I've got a wonderful tasting dessert.
Sounds great. Say that again so I can have that on recording.
So you get about 8 ounces of water with a soul stick.
Right.
I've got electrofuel in my cup right now. But a soul stick. And you shake that up, and then you put in about half a cup of chia seeds. Shake it up, and I love mason jars.
I do too.
Again,
use them
class.
Yeah.
Put it in the refrigerator, and then by dinner time, you take it out, you shake it up again. You got a nice thick pudding.
Oh yeah, that would be. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm going to try that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to the hemp seeds, I always get the ones that are no longer in the shell because it is a pain to husk them yourself. And they're also a great source of protein.
They
you
are.
can sprinkle them over the top of your salads and eat them that way.
Yeah, I've eaten them that way. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I don't know what the medicinal value is of them. I mean, I don't, except they're a protein. I'd have to research that. I haven't used them medicinally myself.
Well, and with the hemp, it does have a tiny bit of CBD oil in there that helps with the cannabinoidal system, but it does take a lot of hemp seeds to be able to get a therapeutic dose. So I do know that.
And actually, our cannabinoid receptors need it. Quite frankly, we have those receptors already in our body. So I think there's a reason they're there. So anyhow, just my thought.
Oh, absolutely. Now going back to the onion juice and putting it in the ears. Miriam wants to know, do you leave the onion juice in the ear for a set length of time or until the ear pain goes away? And how do you get rid of the onion juice when you don't need it anymore? You just tip your head and let it pour out?
Just put it in there, put that cotton ball in there. It will typically eventually just come out like water in an ear when you're swimming. And sometimes the body will absorb it in there. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't have to remove it. It can come out all on its own. Yeah. And you move that head over. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're using a handkerchief with a tight weave. So it's not like you're getting any chunks in there. It's just the oil.
Just the juice from the onion. That's all it is.
The juice. Thank you.
That's fine.
All right. Fantastic. Let's go over to Albert. Albert, what question do you have today?
Hi there, Sheri.
Hi,
my questions are about garlic, not garlic, ginger and turmeric. What's the best way to dry them? And if they're in the dried state, are they less effective to, the raw state?
Great question. If I can always get it in this state, I'm going to use it in this state. But you can do the dried ginger. That's fine too. I'm going to talk about turmeric coming up on one of the shows, which I think you're going to find really interesting. So, but
Right.
I actually grow, it's a rhizome. I actually grow it in my garden in the back. And I'm hoping to be able to harvest some and share that. But you can use it either way. The powdered of either one, I think would be good. I can't see why it would be for medicinal purposes,
And
dried or that.
great. And then to dry it, which is the best way to dry it or the easiest way to dry it? Do you just leave it out and let it dry, or do you
Well, I
put
actually
it in
buy
a
the powder itself. I don't bother to
okay,
dry it or grate it or dry it. I just buy the ginger powder and I just make sure it's good, fresh, and it has a good smell and a good look, and it's from a reliable source, because you use so much ginger with stuff. I use the fresh if I can for almost everything, but if not, then I just get the powder for certain things and use that as well. Yeah. I've never tried to dry it myself.
okay,
I have.
great.
Oh, all right. There you
I
go.
have. I've done quite a bit of it. And one thing with ginger is, the juice that comes from it has a lot of the medicinal properties in it. So you don't want to lose that. But when I did it, I would do fairly thick slices, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and slice it, and then make sure that it is not on a solid surface, so that you got the airflow going all the way around, away from any dust, away from any traffic that's going through. In fact, I had a dryer that I specifically used for drying my herbs, that had light bulbs, not the LED, because they don't put out any heat, but had light bulbs, and I can adjust the temperature by how many light bulbs I had turned on. And then it had a fan, so it kept the air flowing, and that between the heat and the air flowing, it minimized the mold that often occurs whenever you're trying to dry something and setting it out that then has moisture. But you do want to take off the skin, and you can do that just by using the side of a spoon.
I was going to say that. That's my favorite method too. The side of a spoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the skin is kind of bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then once it's completely dry, then I put it in my mason jar with a lid, and either in a cupboard, and I do like to use a dark cupboard when storing mine, so that there's no sunlight directly hitting it, especially since I'm not using Boston bottles that are either brown or blue, to reduce that sunlight effect that can break down the herbs.
Excellent. Thank you. I learned something.
Great.
Well,
Thanks very
that's
much.
we're a community. We work together. We don't all have to know everything.
That's right. Because we
Each
don't.
and every one of us have something that we can bring to the table. And as we collaborate together, it's not a competition.
That's right.
We're working together as a team, as a family. So
I agree.
great question, Albert.
Great stuff.
And you know
Thanks
what?
very
We
much.
have 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and we're going to close this out. Let me just make sure, did I get all of the questions? So there is a question, and I think maybe we may address this unless you know about bay leaves. So
Yeah.
I know there's
that's in one of my
different types of bay leaves.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if it's not a true bay leaf, yes, it can be toxic. So share with us what you know off the top of your head.
Well, I have that actually in a presentation for a future show. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but you're absolutely right. You do want to be careful about the type of herbs, anything that you're getting the best source and the best one, because there can be things out there that aren't true bay leaves. Yes.
Absolutely. So there's the California bay leaf, there's the Indian bay leaf. Both of them are safe to use in culinary. There's also the Laurus nobilis that is also safe to use culinary, meaning you can eat it, you can use it.
Right.
Too much of it, it's bitter. And
Yes.
you're not going to
eat it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And one thing about bay leaves that have been dried or even used fresh, they're hard to chew. So you really don't want to chew them. They have sharp edges. Just take them out. You're getting,
Right.
especially if you're using a stew and put the bay leaves in there during the cooking process, you're getting that flavor, some of that medicinal value in there.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the leaves.
That's right. I wouldn't personally.
Yeah, no, because they don't break down. They really don't get soft.
Yeah.
But you still get the benefit and the flavor that they bring to the dish.
Right.
So, all right. Well, let's get the team up. Come on, team.
Come on, team.
Folks, you've been watching Daily with Doc and Becca with our special guest today, Sheri Browning, as we're going through your kitchen and sharing some of the herbs. And again, this is a series, just part one of this series, where we're going to be sharing more things that are available in your kitchen. And for those of you who don't have a kitchen or don't want to worry about trying to make sure that things are organic and harvested properly and all that good stuff, get with the person that shared this program with you and ask them about the Good Herbs line offered by Longevity. And for those of you who are looking for blood sugar control, in addition to the 90 essential nutrients, the Sweeties is amazing. We have helped so many people be able to say, I am no longer someone that suffers with blood sugar issues because of the 90 with that Sweeties product. So, yep, there's Coach AJ holding it up. I take mine still. I no longer have a metabolic syndrome issue or blood sugar issue, but I still take it because it just helps the body have the nutrients that it needs to be able to control blood sugar and everything, all the processes that go along with it. So thank you so much, Sheri. We look forward to next time as we're going through more herbs and things in our kitchen. Albert, thank you so much for being here as he's joining us from South Africa. He is letting everybody in. So folks, if you're in today, send him a thank you because he let you in and he's like our bouncer of letting people in. We also have with us my executive production manager, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, as she's putting the Zoom video itself, adding those graphics and pushing it out to the different platforms so that you can watch it again and again and again from any of our channels. Just do a search, Daily with Doc and Becca, and you will find us, and do Daily with Doc and Becca and herbs. And you'll find this series. So thank you so much, Ruth Ellen, for all you do. We have our Magic Speedy Fingers, Marilyn, as she is putting information into the chat, doing the dictation of what is being said so that you can read it. If you're here live with us in the Zoom, I hope you had that chat open. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for all that you do. And we have AJ, who is responsible for helping us get out on all these different platforms, keeping an eye on everything, making sure everything is still rolling, which Sheri does too, but not today because she had another job. So thank you so much, AJ, for all that you do. And we have Rod, who's out watching the different platforms and bringing in questions, putting them into the chat. So if there's something that's being asked out there, he's helping to bring stuff into the chat so we can get those questions answered as well. Folks, my name is Becca Dukes, as the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, a certified holistic health coach myself, and a certified naturopathic practitioner, and the host and producer of this program. It is my honor and privilege to be able to provide reliable information that you can put to use all on your own without having a piece of paper written by somebody else with 8 years of school. Because folks, we are not nutrient deficient. I mean, we are not chemical deficient. We are nutrient deficient. So when we take those nutrients and give the body the nutrients that it needs, the body itself can do some amazing things. This program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, Through the science of epigenetics, Dr. Wallach himself has proven that the genetic theory to be incorrect. And with over 90 essential nutrients and over 10 specific poor health conditions associated with each of those 90, that makes 900 poor health symptoms or conditions contributed to by nutritional deficiencies. So use your little brain, figure it out. If there's 900 different nutritional deficiencies and you correct and make sure that your body's getting those nutrients, something good is going to happen. AJ, you have your hand up. Tomorrow is Pharmacist Ben, folks. So don't forget that. Oh, did I spoil it?
Yeah, I was gonna say it in a special way, but it's all good.
Well, no, say your special way, bud.
I was gonna say, do you know what tomorrow is?
Yes, I do. So, folks, join us tomorrow, Friday, and most Fridays at zoom.dailywithdoc.com, where we have Pharmacist Ben Fuchs here with us, answering your questions and bringing more information to empower you as your own authority, as an empowered individual, on what you can do to avoid needing all those chemicals, for the most part, by addressing your nutritional deficiencies from the inside out. Until next time, join us. Join us. dailywithdoc.com. Join our mailing list. You can sign up. It doesn't matter if you're working with somebody or not. It'll help you keep track of what's going on through our podcast here, and also give more informative information, including some of our newsletters that are going out with more empowering information and more to come. So dailywithdoc.com, for those that are not working with anybody, we do have a store there. Also, actually, if you are working with somebody and you know your ID number and your password, you can still use our store. We're here for you. And until next time, bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.